Hello, my name is Adam Butt, and welcome to this analysation of the key scenes from the serial The Dalek Invasion of Earth from the Doctor Who series. In this analysis, I will be analysing and responding to various key scenes and elements within this serial, identifying the key points. I'll be looking into genre characteristics, narrative structures, and representation of characters. And essentially, it starts off with the title sequence. The scene that follows is a Robo-Man walking into the River Thames. Now this is really creepy. At the time it was considered more creepy than it is nowadays, but nowadays it is still creepy. And people who had never seen this serial before might think it's really bizarre, because they have no idea what this guy is and what the headpiece is on his head. Then it cuts to a scene that is on the docks of the River Thames, and the TARDIS materialises.
It's not clear. It's not clear at all.
And then his companions enter, his granddaughter Susan, and schoolteachers Ian Chesterton and Barbara Wright, and then they have a conversation about where they've landed and whether it's safe to go outside. The usual conventions, what you would expect from a 1960s episode. Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter, seems to have had some light-hearted humour to the episode by suggesting that they have a holiday.
What has gone wrong?
Well, Doctor, where are we now then?
Somewhere nice and quiet, I hope. Oh, yes, let's have a holiday.
Take a look for yourselves.
Another thing that could be considered as light-hearted humour could be the fact that the Doctor and indeed his companions take some sort of comedic look on how the Doctor finds it so difficult just to get them home to their home planet Earth in the 1960s in London.
We made it. We're here.
Well, there we are, back home. Your planet.
You brought us a long way around, Doctor.
More by good luck than judgment.
Also, when they exit the TARDIS, later on in the episode, Ian Chesterton suggests that the fact that it's really quiet could be due to the fact that it might be a Sunday. And this could be an attempt to pull in a wider audience.
Pretty deserted. Probably Sunday.
Once Susan had opened the TARDIS doors by pulling the lever on the console, they all departed from the ship, and once they had all had a conversation about how good it was that Ian and Barbara were finally home, and the Doctor noticed the decay in the area, and the fact that all of this rubble and this location had been abandoned, Susan starts climbing on the wall, even though Ian told her not to. And then Susan falls off of the wall and hurts her ankle. Now, actress Carol Ann Ford, she didn't like this scene because she didn't like the fact that Susan was represented as a person who was helpless and useless. And she didn't like the fact that all of the male characters ended up solving the situations in most episodes instead of the female ones. The character of Ian Chesterton could be for sex appeal for the mums. The character of Barbara Wright could be for sex appeal for the dads. The makers of the show had the first Dalek serial on their home planet of Skaro. So what did they think they would do with them next? Well, the obvious thing would be to take them to our home planet of Earth. Ian is the hero. He's the one who always solves all of the situations at the end of a serial, and he'll throw himself into any situation to save his friends, even violent ones. And sometimes, not only to protect himself and defend himself, but also others as well. Susan, she's just useless and hapless, and she just gets in the way of situations and sometimes makes them worse. She doesn't do it on purpose, but that's what it ends up being. All through the series, up until this point, Susan has been a child. Even at the start of this serial, she's still a child. But about halfway through the serial, she starts growing up, she becomes a grown woman and an adult. She's definitely more of one towards the end of the serial, but you see the first phases of it in the middle of the serial. The Doctor doesn't want Susan to hang around with a silly old buffer like him anymore.
Believe me, my dear, your future lies with David, and not with a silly old buffer like me.
He wants her to have like a normal life with a normal family, human husband, live on the farm, and have kids. As far as genre characteristics are concerned, the reason that this is a drama but it's also a science fiction and fantasy program is because drama elements are the fact that it's dramatic throughout most of the episode. Science fiction and fantasy elements include the Dalek, the Roboman, the TARDIS materialising out of nowhere, the fact that it's bigger on the inside, and the fact that it's got like loads of alien technology inside, i.e. the console. The fact that it time travels. In this episode, they're in the year 2164.
Ah, here, look. Now then, at least we know the century, dear boy, look. 2164.
Also, the fact that it looks like a police box and it's not really a police box comes into it as well. This is because the TARDIS is meant to blend in with its surroundings, but because a component called the chameleon circuit is broken and the TARDIS is faulty, the TARDIS doesn't blend in with its surroundings anymore. And that's why it's stuck as a 1960s police box, because in the first episode it was in a junkyard in the 1960s London. Also, the devastation caused by the alien race, the Daleks, is on a much wider scale than you would ever see in reality.
What's that monstrosity out there?
It's Battersea Power Station.
There is even a Dalek emerging from the River Thames at the end of this episode, which acts as the cliffhanger. In the first episode, you only see one Dalek because that's the cliffhanger, as well as the Robomen being on the other side to stop Ian and the Doctor's escape. So essentially, Ian and the Doctor are cornered. On one side, the Robomen, on the other side, the Dalek emerging from the River Thames. Also, in later episodes in this serial, you see more than one Dalek. The reason this story was considered, so horrific is because it's threatening our very core beings. All of the stuff that we know, London, one of the capital cities on Earth, the capital city of England and the United Kingdom and Britain, it's been reduced to rubble. Now, this affected most of Britain, really, especially patriots, especially when you see the alien invaders, the Daleks, in prime locations in London, such as Westminster Bridge and Trafalgar Square. The Daleks are similar to Nazism in a way. The same thing with the stormtroopers in Star Wars, actually. I mean, the Galactic Empire's logo in Star Wars is similar to the Nazi swastika. The shot when the Daleks are in Trafalgar Square is really the one which is most related to Nazism, because you have the monument, the memorial monument that shows the names of all of our fallen soldiers on it. And to have the enemy going past that really gets to people's hearts.